wasn't love at first sight. 25 years ago, I started my study in Master in Geography. And the most exciting and thrilling lecture was the Geography in the Tropics and Subtropics. Why was it an amazing and thrilling lecture? Because our professor, Professor Scholz, he knew how to talk about the subject. He had the background knowledge to teach us the basics in geography, but he also knew how to connect with his audience. And the best was, he was a storyteller. So what did Professor Scholz do? Having 2 slides, always 2 photos, or at least 1 photo and 1 slide with an explanation. But all the personal stories, they made a difference. And Professor Scholz used to work in Indonesia for a long time. So he knew about his subject, Indonesia. Also, the lecture was very interesting and really amazing. I didn't connect with Indonesia at that time, because I was known as the Australian guy. I always wanted to go to Australia. And after 8.5 years of telling all my friends and neighbors and parents going to Australia, I went to Australia. Oh. 20 years ago, I went to the University of Sydney to do my first research project. Because I was a newbie in research, I didn't know all that much. I had to learn a lot. I was lucky. I had a mentor. The mentor had the name Woody.
Woody.
By the way, who of you has a mentor here at Toastmasters? Me? Oh, quite a few. And who of you is a mentor? Just 2, which is 3. Okay, I guess mentoring is the most underestimated value at Toastmasters. And I am a mentor, but also a mentee. And I have many mentors and mentees in my Toastmasters life, and I learned a lot. So find your mentor, find your mentee. It's really a special value for you in personal development, public speaking, and leadership. Woody was my mentor. And what did Woody do? He explained, because I was a beginner, he explained how Microsoft Office works. Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and the like. But Woody also taught me about research, the way of thinking in research, and how to approach a research project and all the questions. In return to Woody, I spent just a few dry slips of mango. And Woody and I, we were sitting next to each other at the office, and Woody with all the mango slips, and he really enjoyed it. At the end of my year in Australia, Woody asked me for a favor. He asked me, Stephen, I've got a very good friend in Germany, and please bring my friend two things, 2 animals, but only for playing, a koala bear and a kangaroo. Okay. So in August 1999, I returned to Germany, and a couple of weeks later, I contacted 3. Woody's friend. Both here from Medan.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I've met 3, and of course, we did have the time, half a day for each other. 3 came next to the train station in my hometown. But how to find 3 and how to find Stephen? It was the early times of internet, and we didn't have a photo of each other. So I tried to describe myself. Who am I? Well, I'm Stephen. I have blonde hair, blue eyes, blue jeans, more Asian, which is very typical for German people. So how could she recognize me? At the end, I recognized her because Asian people or Chinese or Indonesian people, you can easily recognize. There are quite a few in Germany, but not too many when they come to a local station. So I approached 3, and we had half a day for each other for the very first time. And what made all the difference was that, well, I invited 3 for a drink. It was summer. I invited 3 for an ice cream. And I even invited 3 for a second drink, which was quite unusual for 3 by the time. And so we became sympathetic to each other. And of course, we met several times during the next few weeks and months. It wasn't love at first sight. In Christmas 1999, 4 months later, I invited Sri in my parents' house, in my parents' home, celebrating Christmas for 3 days. And what do if you have lots of time for each other? You get closer, you know each other much better by the time. Not only Sri and all friends, not only Stephen and all the friends, but just the two of us. And so we are a couple since 1999. So 3 years later we married, and 2 years later, in 2005, 2006, we went to Indonesia for the very first time. To Medan. My very first time. And of course, Sri has got 12 brothers and sisters. So it's a lot of networking, a lot of meeting other people, and I want to get to know you. But what happened to me, I will never forget. In this first year in Indonesia, in Medan, I was kidnapped. What? Seriously? I was kidnapped, yes. Why? There were six guys kidnapping me on a motorcycle, kidnapping me here in Medan to another place in Medan I've never seen. My wife was somewhere else in Medan and I didn't know where I am. Just somewhere in Medan. So we were sitting, chairs, and they were all looking to me dangerously. I felt like, what will they do? What will they ask me? They asked a lot of questions. But my Bahasa Indonesia was not very good by the time. Still is not. Maaf for that. And they kept asking me questions. Well, I somehow replied what we learned in Toastmasters. Yeah, smiling, body language, vocal variety, even if you don't have the Indonesian words, but I can speak in German and English. No problem. Still, I felt like stage fright, sitting next to these people. What happened? 3 hours later, they were still sitting there. They were still asking questions. Finally, I was released. It was the brother-in-law of my wife, which was kidnapped me with his friends. And I wanted to know, does this guy, Stephen, does this guy be friendly to Sri? Maybe, maybe not. But I survived, obviously. So after this kidnapping, well, we came back to Indonesia a few years later. This time, it's the third time already. So together with our children, Chiara and Yasmin, they are 13 and 9 years old. It's the third time in Medan, 3 times at Danau, 3 times in Jakarta and elsewhere. But the very first time at the Toastmasters Club. I fell in love with Toastmasters in 2009. My home club, the Bonn International Toastmasters, a really cute club, and in my first night I said, I will join you. So after 10 years, it's my first visit at the Toastmasters Club here in Indonesia, obviously. And what happened in these 10 years? I switched from my science career, started my own business 3.5 years ago as a public speaking trainer and coach, thanks to Toastmasters.
Wow.
And this is my last call, or my last story here in my speech, is about my vision. I love this international settings. I love this intercultural settings. My Bonn International Toastmasters home club is with people from Germany, of course, but people from all over the world. And I love it. I love this atmosphere. I love traveling, not only to Indonesia, but to Australia, to New Zealand, to different parts of Africa, South America, and of course Asia once again. And my vision is, as a trainer, coach, speaker, maybe you are a trainer, a coach, a speaker, or you plan to do it. If you do, and if you are dedicated to this, I would like to connect with you and also with speakers, trainers, coaches from all over the world, from different cultures, in a small group, maybe 5 or 10 people, no more. Just to connect via LinkedIn, via Facebook, via whatever social network, and have a call at least once, maybe twice a month. Why am I asking you for the first time here in my life? It's my vision. And I fell in love with Indonesia. I want to deepen this network, not only according to my wife, of course, but also this is my first private stay here without my wife in Indonesia. And there should be many, many more in the future, and maybe we can connect and you come to visit Germany, and we go to visit America, Africa, Australia, whatever. I'm looking forward to this time. Thank you very much. Darina Kap.